Hello student, in this lesson I will going to talk about biological transformation of organic waste for generating biofertilizers. Simply we can call as a how biological material transfer into a valuable economical biofertilizers. So the word biofertilizers are comprises of bio plus fertilizers. Bio related to biological things, fertilizers are the component or the organic material which mainly used for increasing the fertility of soil. Basically these components are rich in organic element like carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus and iron, zinc material. So they are used in farming process for increasing any crop yield. So for detailed explanation, the management of solid waste is the challenge nowadays for developing countries as the generation is increasing with a rapid and alarming rate. As generation is increasing, so waste also produce at rapid and alarming rate. Much awareness toward the sustainability and technological advances for solid waste management is used to reduce the generation of unnecessary waste. And then the recycling of this waste is being applied to produce valuable organic matter which can be used as a fertilizers or amendment to improve the soil structure, which sustainable transformation of various types of biomass waste such as animal manure, sewage sludge, municipal solid waste and food waste into organic fertilizers and their impact on waste minimization and agriculture enhancement. As basically population increases, so population increases, that's why waste also increases, and to treating this waste, government apply certain kinds of projects, certain kinds of challenges. The sustainable transformation of various types such as animal manure, जिसे हम क्या कह सकते हैं, manure means in local language it is called as खत, and then sewage sludge, सीवेज से जो भी गंदा पानी या फिर वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट निकलता है, एंड म्युनिसिपल सॉलिड वेस्ट. सो इनको कलेक्टिवली हम एक फर्टिलाइजर्स के रूप में प्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं. फॉर प्रोड्यूसिंग अ fertilizer main process is composting. It is organic way to generate compost. If I call as is a sustainable technique that converts this organic and biodegradable food waste into a stable form of organic matter and fertilizers that can be used for agriculture as soil amendments. The content and quality of compost is dependent on the types of raw material used, process of composting, condition of decomposition process, and addition of nutrients during composting. So by this composting method we can treat those waste product like animal sludge material, then municipal sewage waste, animal manure into a good fertilizer. The conversion of food and municipal solid waste to compost and its utilization for improving crop productivity and soil fertility will contribute to the soil organic matter management and reduction of the carbon footprint. So basically what is need of composting? To treat these types of municipal solid waste, and by this utilization we can make a fertilizer which can improve the crop productivity. As crop productivity increases, then crops yields also increases. The basic and most organic way of generating composting is from using worm. We can call as a vermicomposting. Vermicomposting is a sustainable and economical process that involves the use of worms or vigorals. Worms we can call as a vermi. Vermi mainly involvement of earthworms to convert organic waste material into a nutrient rich and well stabilized material. Vermicompost is likened to peat and has excellent structures, aeration, porosity, and enhanced moisture holding capacity for promoting plant growth. Vermicomposting consists of worms that will tunnel through the soils, creating air pathways to allow oxygen flow. The nurturing of earthworms in organic waste has the potential to transform wastewater sludge, food waste, animal waste, municipal waste, and other waste into the valuable fertilizers. So basically, vermicomposting is a method as we can use earthworms for vermicomposting. As we rear earthworms, we can go for vermiculture. We can get economically valuable product like vermicompost, which is act as a good fertilizer, as by the action of earthworm the waste has been turned into a valuable fertilizer. Using a worm compost means the worm compost is rich in nitrogen. I am talking about vermicompost. That this compost is rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, and many other nutrients and minerals important to healthy plant growth. For plant growth, nitrogen, phosphorus, and many other like iron and zinc component are required. So, by the process of vermicomposting, earthworms can increase the nitrogen phosphorus content in the manure. It can be added as a mulch layer over the plotting soil of house plants, allowing the nutrient to leach into the root area and the pots with each watering. It can be used or mixed with potting soil. The nutrient-rich amendment can also be used in the garden with no worry of burning roots or over-fertilizing as with chemical fertilizers. So these are some advantages of this worm composting. For vermicompost, basically earthworm mainly focus on earthworm species that is suitable for vermicomposting is epigeic. Epigeic means the species which is mainly found on the surface of soil surface. They are mainly decomposers, which is most important in vermicomposting. Epigeic species of earthworms with their natural ability to colonize organic waste means earthworm with symbiotically action with certain kind of microorganism, that is bacteria. They form symbiotic relationship and decomposes the plant and animal material on Earth's surface. High rates of consumption, digestion, and assimilation of organic matter makes earthworm more suitable for vermicomposting. Also, a tolerance to a wide range of environmental factors like short life cycles, high reproductive rates, and endurance and tolerance of handling is easier in case of earthworms, and they have high tolerance rate to environmental factors like salinity condition, thermal conditions, and have a short life cycles. Means in a year we can go for 2 to 3 cycles. Along with that, they have high reproductive rates. We can call as a high fecundity rate. Earthworm also show good potential for vermicomposting. That's why earthworm is more suitable for vermicomposting. For vermicomposting, earthworm require favorable conditions such as pH range between the 6.5 to 7.5, moisture content between the 60 to 70% of the moisture, and aeration, air passage require 50% of aeration from the total pore space. Temperature range between to 80 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius as optimal conditions required for earthworm to make vermicompost. So basically, what is vermiculture? By definition, vermiculture is a biological process by which all types of organic waste like crop residues, kitchen remains waste, then market waste like plastics and all, bio waste like food like the remaining food and fruits material of agro-based industries, then livestock waste, weeds, these are the material are converted into valuable product, means vermicompost. The process of vermicompost formation is called as a vermicomposting, involving breaking down of complex organic matter into a nutrient rich material by earthworm by its ingestion and digestion activity. In this process, worms help in transforming organic waste materials into high quality manure with ample amount of macro and micronutrients for plant growth and development. So see here, as earthworm is showing, from culturing earthworm we can get vermiwash, and this is vermicompost. Vermicompost is nothing but the it is a manure which is formed by the action of earthworm by their ingestion and digestion activity on crop residues, kitchen waste, market waste, and bio waste, and agro-based industries waste, livestock waste. So all this material togetherly having earthworm action give rise to vermicompost product. Vermicompost act as a best fertilizer for crop yield. Vermicompost. The final product of vermicomposting is a black granular crumbling organic manure which is contain plant nutrient like organic carbon, which is 9.15 to 17.19%, then total nitrogen 1.5 to 2.1%. Then talking about phosphorus, it is 1 to 1.5%, and potassium 0.6%. Available surface sulfur 1 to 8 to 548 parts per million ppm. Then calcium and magnesium content 22 to 70 per 100 gram. Copper 100 ppm, iron 1800 ppm, and zinc 50 ppm. So these are certain chemicals which is mainly embedded in that vermicompost. Secondly, vermicompost is also contain growth promoting hormones which is mainly ऑक्सिन्स, जिसे हम एंडोल एसिटिक एसिड भी कहते हैं, देन साइटोकाइनिन्स. ऑक्सिन्स एंड साइटोकाइनिन्स is mainly responsible for growth of root and shoot. For growth of root, auxin is responsible. For growth of shoot, cytokinin is responsible. And flowering hormones, gibberellins. Flowering is induced by gibberellins hormones, which is secreted by earthworms, thus has a positive effect on vegetative growth. Vegetative growth means for plant growth, certain kinds of auxins, cytokinins, and gibberellins, these are the some hormones are released with the action of earthworms. And then earthworms vermicomposting, it contains some antibiotics and actinomyces that help in increasing resistance to crop plants against pests and diseases. क्रॉप प्लांट को रेजिस्टेंट बनाने के लिए अर्थवर्म क्या रिलीज करते हैं? सर्टेन काइंड्स ऑफ एंटीबायोटिक्स एंड एक्टिनोमाइसिड्स. these are the chemical material. Antibiotics is a chemical substance which is produced by one kind of bacteria and which is act against another kind of bacteria. Lastly, vermicompost also has a very high porosity, aeration and drainage and water holding capacity, which is also be helpful for maintenance of soil health. So by this all characteristics, vermicompost makes a suitable biofertilizer. What is the advantages of vermicompost? First is that vermicompost is a rich source of nutrients, vitamins, enzymes, and antibiotics and growth hormones like auxins, cytokinins, and gibberellins. And they are rich source of nutrients because they contain all the nu- all the elementary source like carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus. Then certain kinds of vitamins, growth regulators. Secondly, nutrient content of vermicompost is higher than traditional compost. Traditional compost means like another way, like cow dung and all the traditional compost. Vermicompost harbors certain microbial population that help in nitrogen fixation and phosphorus solubilization. Its application enhances nodulation in legumes and symbiotic mycorrhizal association with the root. Means जो नोडुलेशन इन लेग्यूम्स, जो नाइट्रोजन फिक्सिंग बैक्टीरिया एक्ट करते हैं लेग्यूमिनस प्लांट पे, तो इनकी एक्टिविटी इनहांस भी करने का काम कौन करता है? अर्थवर्म. एंड जो माइक्रोराइजल एसोसिएशन विथ रूट नोडुल्स, तो इनको भी इनहांस करने का काम करता है अर्थवर्म एक्टिविटी. It can be used as a rooting medium and establishments of sapling in nursery. So these are certain kind of advantages of vermicompost. So vermicompost can be done in situ vermicomposting. In situ means composting which mainly done in particular area. Can be done by direct field applications of vermicompost followed by application of cow dung. Require 2.5 centimeter thick layer and then a layer of available farm waste about 15 centimeter thick. It means by the two component like using cow dung and available farm waste like plant leaves and all the waste which is generated from farm. Irrigation should be done at an interval of 15 days. Means irrigation means water, giving water capacity, checking after 15 days intervals. Means हमें हर 15 दिन के बाद उनकी क्या चेक करना है? वाटर सप्लीमेंट चालू है कि नहीं. So here is one chart is given that showing characteristics of different types of bio-waste materials used for fertilizer production. So types of materials में आएंगे ऑर्गेनिक मैन्योर, जो चिकन कंपोस्ट से भी मैन्योर बना सकते हैं. इनोकुलेशन विथ एजोबैक्टर, इससे हम प्रोसेसिंग एंड ट्रीटमेंट करके फर्टिलाइजर बना सकते हैं. देन ऑर्गेनिक मैन्योर एंड ग्रीन मैन्योर, जो फॉर्म एंड ग्रीन, ट्राइफोलियम, एलेक्जेंड्रिनम, वेरियस लाइवस्टॉक से हमें मिलता है. ये भी एक मैन्योर करके एक्ट होता है जो ट्रीटमेंट करता है इफेक्टिव माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म एंड फर्टिलाइजर सॉल्यूशंस में. देन हम बात करें शिप मैन्योर की, तो ये मिक्स होता है केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर के साथ. देन सॉलिड पिग मैन्योर, सॉलिड डेयरी मैन्योर, so they act as a surface apply and incorporated using cultivator implement. So these are the chart giving the certain organism manures and their usefulness. Here also one chart is shown, that is compost, which is taken from food waste, rice and cabbage, pork, which is mainly act on dynamic high temperature aerobic fermentation bioreactor. Then swine manure, solid fractions, cattle manure, then cow manure and wastewater sludge. So these are the example of vermicomposting preparing animals. So by definition, biofertilizer is a more balanced nutrient supply to keep plant healthy, because it promotes the nutrient mobilization that can enhance the soil biological activity, sustain the residual concentration of organic nitrogen and phosphorus in the soil by reducing nitrogen leaching losses and phosphorus fixation. Then by supply of biofertilizer food to promote the growth of beneficial microorganisms like symbiotic bacteria, then provide a better soil structure for root growth, and it helps to reduce certain plant and soil borne diseases. It is mainly resistance to certain kinds of soil borne pathogens. Then increase the soil organic matter content to enhance the exchange capacity of nutrients, increase the soil water retention because of the porosity, and support soil aggregation. So these are some benefits of using biofertilizers. So we can see about biofertilizer, but biofertilizer mainly vermicompost. With the help of earthworm, we can make a compost, so which act as a biofertilizer. But what is the procedure behind that? So it is the mostly prepared in either pit or heap method. Pit means making column which has interval water sources, and heap method means exactly on their original location we can make a vermicompost. Talking about dimension of heap or pit, it is 10 by 4 into 2 feet. The length and width can be increased or decreased depending on the availability of material and not for the depth of that pit or heap. The process involves first of all us select a site which is not under any economic use and is shady and there is no water stagnation. हमें ऐसी जगह चूज करनी है जो कैसी है, शेडी है, जहाँ पे सनलाइट इजीली कम प्रमाण में पाया जाएगा, एंड नो वाटर स्टैग्नेशन, जहाँ पे पानी का ठहराव नहीं है, पानी वहां पे रुका नहीं रहेगा, बहता जाता है. द साइट शुड बी नियर टू अ वाटर सोर्स. फर्स्ट लेयर बनी होंगी बेडिंग मटेरियल्स ऑफ 1 inch thick with soft leaves, and in second layer 9 inch thick organic residue layer. Finally chaff materials like biological things, fruit materials, any kind of waste embedded in second layer. Then third layer comprises of dung and water equal mixture of second inch layer. So a bead comprises of 3 layers. First layer which is comprises of thick and soft leaves. Second layer which is comprises of finely chaff materials, and third layer is cow dung and water equal mixtures. So in these images it is given that how vermicompost prepare. So basic raw material used as any organic material like the waste which is generated in farms like wheat, rice, straw, लीफ फॉल, जो भी पत्तियां झड़ जाती है उसको भी हम यूज कर सकते हैं, या फिर पैडी हस्क, जो भी पैडी क्रॉप के जो हस्क होते हैं उसको भी हम यूज कर सकते हैं. देन व्हीट एंड राइस की स्ट्रॉस, आफ्टर हार्वेस्टिंग व्हीट जो स्ट्रॉ बचे रहते हैं उनको भी हम यूज कर सकते हैं. देन स्टार्टर काउडंग, बायोगैस स्लरी का हम यूज कर सकते हैं, या फिर यूरिन ऑफ कैटल, बिकॉज दिस ऑल आर रिच इन carbon nitrogen source. Then if I am talking about earthworm species, then earthworms species Eisenia fetida is the most commonly used. It is an exotic earthworm which is not native in our India, which is mainly non-native. Then thatch roof making called as a wormy shed for protecting that wormy pit. So here images are shown that a man is making vermicompost by the action of certain kinds of material, and a female which is putting all the stuffs here, means which is making a vermicompost by pit method. Student which is also involved in there. Then this is vermicompost, black fine material as a used as a fertilizer. Then packing and processing, then reach to different target supplier for economically important harvesting product. So basically, what is process of vermicomposting? So step by step I can explain about what is the process of vermicomposting. First, chop the available crop residues, kitchen waste, market waste, bio waste and agro-based industries, livestock waste, weeds are finely chopped into a convenient size and shade dried for a few days. हमें ये सभी चीजें लेनी है, इनको फाइनली चॉप करना है एंड कुछ दिनों तक उनको ड्राई रखने के लिए छोड़ देना है. Then put 4-6 inch of layers of shade dry organic waste material into the bottom of the bed and sprinkle one layer of cow dung over it. Over this layer, another layer of organic residues is sprayed, followed by a spraying of cow dung slurry uniformly. This process is repeated till the spread of the organic residues 6 inch above the top of the pit. Then, after a partial decomposition of organic residues, the earthworms are released. At 1 kg, around 1000 worms per bed. एक बेड में 1000 worm होनी चाहिए, consisting of 1 ton organic residues. By making holes at the top of the bed on 4 corners and centers of the pit. The holes are made for water drainage and aeration, proper aeration these holes can make. The bed can finally be covered with a jute bag or mat to protect earthworms from the birds and insects. Water needs to be sprinkled daily on the wormy beds according to the requirement and season to keep them moist, because moisture content is also an important thing for making a vermicompost bed. The bed can finally be covered with a jute bag or mat to protect earthworms from birds and insects. Then another step is water needs to be sprinkled daily on the basis of to keep moisturizing that bed. The appearance of black granular crumbly vermicompost on top of the wormy beds indicate maturity of the compost. Means after all this process we can get a wormy, means black granular crumbly structure like this way. Here it can show like all the process we can get this black crumbly vermicompost. Then the mature vermicompost is light in weight and does not emit any foul smell. The pH of the mature vermicompost remains in the neutral range, comprises of pH between 7 value. Then watering is stopped after at least 5 days before the final harvest for the top layers. At this stage we can stop watering. Harvest the vermicompost by scraping layer wise from the top of the pit and heap under shade. Then the harvested vermicompost has to be sieved. Sieving helps in separation of the earthworm, cocoons and eggs from the compost. Then after sieving, the compost should be shade dry and a couple of hours pack and store in shade. And after that you can transport them. Then this is the basic chart of making fertilizer. Means you can collect, extract any sewage sludge ash and phosphoric acid. Then extract solid residues from them by the process of purification and then neutralization, that is nitrogen adient enriching components process of neutralization. So we can make suspension fertilizers and nitrogen phosphorus fertilizers. Then by the process of precipitation we can make precipitate pk fertilizer, potassium and phosphorus fertilizer, and npk nitrogen phosphorus and potassium fertilizer. So this is the basic chart of making nitrogen phosphorus fertilizer. Neutralization is the process of making equal balancing state, and then the whole process means how a raw material like food waste, animal waste like cow dung and all, then agro waste which is taken from forestry, plant leaves, plant material, those these all the things are get combined and by the action of earthworms, so we can make a valuable economical product which is act as a good source of biofertilizer, which is mainly used to enhance the activity of soil. So this is all about today's lecture. Thank you.